Mothers are often associated with unconditional love, protection, and nurturing. There exists a darker and more unsettling reality for some children: mothers who inflict physical and psychological torture on their offspring. Today, we're here to talk about Medusa from Soul Eater and how she severely damaged Crona both mentally and physically through years of manipulation and abuse. The anime and manga series Soul Eater stands out not just for its stylized action sequences, but also for its exploration of profound psychological and emotional themes. One of the most complex and disturbing dynamics in the series is the relationship between Medusa Gorgon and her child, Crona. While much of Soul Eater thrives on the battle between order and madness, few characters embody this conflict more intimately and tragically than Crona, whose identity and sanity are shaped and nearly destroyed by their abusive upbringing under Medusa. I'm calling Crona they them because their gender is unknown. You can look it up for yourself, and I'm going to respect that. Medusa, a powerful and cunning witch, presents one of the most ruthless portrayals of emotional and psychological manipulation. Her relationship with Crona is not one rooted in maternal care, but rather in domination, control, and experimentation. Throughout Soul Eater, Medusa is depicted not as a mother who nurtures, but as a scientist who treats her child as a test subject, a tool, and a pawn for her own grand design.
What's got you two so irritated? You sound ridiculous. Do I really have to tell you what you already know? Think about it this way: why would I keep something that I no longer need?
From the outset, it is clear that Crona was never viewed by Medusa as a child in the conventional sense. Instead, Crona was treated as an object, something to be molded into a weapon of destruction. This began with Medusa's cruel experimentation, most notably the fusion of Crona's blood with the sentient demon weapon Ragnarok. Medusa's goal was to create a perfect killing machine, and she saw her own child as the ideal subject. The process itself was traumatic and excruciating. Crona's very bloodstream was altered to carry black blood, a corrupted substance that provides near invincibility and immense power, but also exacerbates madness, emotional instability, and dissociation. This act alone signifies Medusa's complete disregard for Crona's physical and mental well-being. To Medusa, the psychological toll of fusing her child with a sadistic entity like Ragnarok was inconsequential. What mattered was Crona's utility as a vessel for her experiments, tools in a greater plan to upend the existing order and bring about a new era of chaos through the resurgence of madness, aka Asura the Kishin.
Your soul wavelengths reunited, but they're falling apart now.
I guess I found his limit. Oh well, soul protect.
Medusa's abuse of Crona is not limited to grotesque scientific experimentation. Her primary method of control is psychological. She isolates Crona from any outside influences that might offer compassion, empathy, or autonomy. Crona grows up with no socialization, no friendships, and no loving relationships, only fear, commands, and punishments. Crona's frequent repetition of the phrase,
But I still don't know how to deal with other people.
reflects a deep-seated social phobia and emotional paralysis, a result of years spent under Medusa's coercive psychological conditioning. The abuse manifests in several deeply manipulative ways. Gaslighting. Medusa invalidates Crona's feelings, experiences, and perceptions. She tells Crona that love is weakness, that trust is a trap, and that only obedience matters. This constant rewriting of reality undermines Crona's ability to form their own identity. Fear conditioning. Whenever Crona fails or expresses doubt, Medusa instills fear through intimidation, threat, or the use of Ragnarok. These reactions condition Crona to associate deviation or failure with immediate danger, creating a cycle of anxiety and paralysis. Positive reinforcement for violence. Crona is only praised when they engage in violence, further reinforces Medusa's goal of creating a mindless killer. She does not reward emotional growth or independence. Instead, she praises destruction and subjugation. Deprivation of love. Perhaps most cruelly, Medusa weaponizes Crona's innate desire for maternal affection. She dangles the illusion of care just enough to make Crona crave it, but also out of reach. This toxic cycle keeps Crona emotionally tethered to her, her, even when aware of the harm. This emotional manipulation drives Crona into a state of total dependence on Medusa. Even when presented with alternatives like friendship from Maka, Medusa's control is so absolute that Crona continues to serve her even when doubting her motives, believing that maybe, just maybe, this time they'll be good enough to earn love. When Crona meets Maka, their journey takes a dramatic turn. Crona's life changes as a result of Maka's unfailing empathy and sincere desire to aid people. Maka is aware of the anguish and suffering concealed beneath Crona's tough facade. In contrast to others who view them as a monster or an immediate danger, she offers friendship, empathy, and support without passing judgment. Maka can see inside Crona's heart and the extent of their trauma thanks to their soul resonance, a powerful bond between Meister and weapon. The barriers that Crona has put up around themselves start to come down as a result of Maka's readiness to reach out to them and view them as a unique person deserving of compassion. Crona is greatly impacted by small gestures of kindness. In sharp contrast to their cruel and manipulative relationship with Medusa, they discover for the first time the potential of true connection. Maka's faith in Crona's abilities give them the confidence to challenge Medusa's authority and go down their own route. The presence of Ragnarok, both physically inside Crona and symbolically, cannot be understated. While Medusa is the primary abuser, Ragnarok is the instrument of her abuse. He is aggressive, cruel, and constantly belittles Crona. He mocks their insecurities, punishes their hesitation, and abuses them both physically and mentally. In many ways, Ragnarok is the voice of Medusa embedded within Crona, always reminding them of their worthlessness unless they're obedient and violent. Like, if we're gonna be so for real, Crona and Ragnarok give Eddie and Venom vibes, but worse. It's a pervertive kind of codependency despite the poisonous nature of their connection. Although Ragnarok is violent, he seems to find meaning in their shared life. While Crona depends on him for safety and power, some argue that Ragnarok's actions are the result of their own warped sense of self-preservation, which was developed during Medusa's trials. Whatever the cause, Crona and Ragnarok's friendship is a continual reminder of the difficulties Crona has in moving past their history. Ragnarok's existence as a parasite within Crona's body reflects the invasive nature of trauma. He is not an external burden that Crona can set down. He is part of them, imprinted so deeply that he cannot be separated without destroying their sense of self. This metaphor is one of Soul Eater's most powerful commentaries on the long-term effects of abuse. It invades not just the body, but the soul.
You're such an obedient child, Crona. You finally see the truth, don't you? You don't fit in here, not really. The only place you'll ever belong is with me.
Lady Medusa?
There are moments, especially towards the end of the manga, where Medusa exhibits what some might interpret as signs of love or maternal care.
Bombastic side-eye. Criminal offensive side-eye. Bombastic side-eye. Criminal offensive side-eye.
Crona basically has a crash out moment when Medusa starts acting sweet and kind, talking about some, "Oh, I'm so proud of you, sweet child of mine."
Huh?
Crona, who isn't used to any type of affection or love from Medusa, can't handle it. And so, they reacted by stabbing their mom through the heart. Yep, right through the chest. Now, you have to understand, Crona has been conditioned to expect pain, rejection, and control, not love. So when Medusa suddenly coos with sweet words and offers the affection Crona had always been starved of, it shatters what little psychological stability they have left. They don't trust it. They can't trust it. And Medusa, in her final manipulation, uses that moment of vulnerability to tighten her grip on Crona's mind one last time with the words, "I love you, Crona."
Bullshit.
It's chilling because we know, even in death, Medusa wanted control. Her twisted version of love was just another weapon. Even her apparent willingness to die at Crona's hand can be interpreted as not as a redemptive act of sacrifice, but rather as the ultimate demonstration of her success. She has so thoroughly broken and reshaped her child that they now carry out her death wish, fulfilling her obsession with chaos even in killing her. Whether Medusa's actions are seen as some twisted form of love or mere megalomaniac control is open to interpretation, but what is not ambiguous is the devastating effect she has on Crona. The illusion of love becomes just another tool in her arsenal, a lure that keeps Crona bound, unable to fully accept alternative forms of connection. After Medusa's death, Crona does not find peace. They are left directionless, anchored and deeply traumatized. Their arc diverges in the anime and manga. In the anime, Crona begins to recover through the support of Maka and the others. They begin to resist the voices of doubt, suggesting that with time and love, healing is possible. This path is one of bittersweet hope. In the manga, Crona takes a much darker turn, ultimately isolating themselves and sacrificing their lives to trap Asura, the god of madness. While this act can be read as redemptive, it is also tragic. Crona never truly escapes the shadow of Medusa. They remain a victim of unresolved trauma, choosing self-sacrifice over reintegration. In either case, Crona's trajectory underscores how severe abuse distorts one's identity, perception, and relationships. Healing is difficult, non-linear, and not guaranteed. Even with support, the damage inflicted by a manipulative, narcissistic parent like Medusa cannot be undone overnight, if ever. Medusa and Crona's relationship is one of the most haunting depictions of parental abuse in anime. Medusa is not merely a villain, she is the embodiment of coercive control, emotional manipulation, and scientific amorality. Her legacy is etched into Crona's very blood, mind, and soul. She strips her child of agency, identity, and joy, replacing them with fear, dependency, and confusion. Crona, meanwhile, becomes a tragic figure, a living testament to the damage inflicted by abuse and neglect. Their story is not simply one of trauma, but the struggle to reclaim autonomy in the wake of profound violation. Whether or not Crona ultimately finds peace, their journey forces audiences to confront uncomfortable truths about manipulation, the long-term effects of emotional trauma, and the dark potential of parental power abuse. In Soul Eater, madness is not just a supernatural threat, it is a metaphor for psychological breakdown, and nowhere is that more powerfully illustrated than in the haunting, heartbreaking bond between Medusa and Crona.
The fear of interacting with other people, huh? Even I get that one.
And as always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye! But if we're gonna be so for real, the ending to the Soul Eater anime was so trash. It was garbage.
Get your blessing.